Have you ever been in the middle of telling a story, something you thought was worth hearing, and suddenly realized the room had moved on without you? The laughter continues, but it's not at your punchline. Eyes stay fixed on someone else. You finish your sentence anyway, into a void. Or maybe you send a message that once would have sparked a quick reply, and hours later it sits there, marked as read, unanswered. You walk into a familiar gathering and no one's head turns, no energy shifts to acknowledge you've arrived. The group carries on as if you're already part of the furniture. That quiet sting isn't random. Being ignored isn't accidental. It's social positioning in real time, a silent recalibration of where you stand in the invisible hierarchy. Everyone feels but rarely names. If you've lived long enough to have felt this more than once, you know exactly what I'm describing. Today we're going to look straight at why it hurts so deeply, what it really means, and, most importantly, how to respond without losing your dignity or chasing what's already slipping away. The pain of being ignored cuts sharper than most people admit because it isn't just emotional, it's physical. When someone deliberately withholds attention, the same regions of the brain light up as when you stub your toe or burn your hand. Social rejection and physical pain share neural real estate, particularly in the anterior cingulate cortex, the area that registers distress and motivates us to do something about it. This isn't modern sensitivity, it's ancient wiring. For most of human history, being cast out of the group meant death, starvation, predators, no protection. Our brains never fully unlearned that equation. Attention equals survival, exclusion equals danger. Even in a comfortable living room or a family chat group, that old alarm system still goes off. That's why a single unanswered text or a brushed off comment can sit in your chest for hours or days. It's not weakness, it's biology reminding you that connection still matters. In every social setting, attention functions as the real currency. Whoever receives the most sustained focus controls the emotional momentum of the room, who laughs loudest, whose stories get extended, whose suggestions become the plan. Ignoring someone is one of the purest dominance tactics available because it requires no raised voice, no confrontation, just deliberate absence. Withholding attention is power exercised through what isn't done rather than what is. It shifts the hierarchy without anyone having to say a word. The person who gets ignored isn't just overlooked, they're being repositioned lower on the unspoken ladder. And once that repositioning begins, it tends to stick, unless something powerful interrupts the pattern. Not every instance of being ignored carries the same meaning, and understanding the differences keeps you from misreading the situation. There's strategic ignoring, the intentional power move where someone wants you to feel small, so they withhold acknowledgement to remind you of your place. Then there's passive ignoring, born from indifference. You become so low value in their eyes that responding feels like unnecessary effort. Defensive ignoring happens when someone feels threatened by you and shuts down to protect their own status. And group-based ignoring is the most insidious. When one person starts, others mirror the cue, forming a quiet alliance that excludes you without a vote ever being taken. Recognizing which type you're dealing with changes how you respond. Not every snub deserves a countermove. Some are signals, some are simply noise. The behaviors that most reliably invite being ignored are the very ones people reach for when they feel the attention slipping. Speaking too often, jumping in before others finish, laughing quickest at every joke even when it isn't funny. Filling every silence because quiet feels uncomfortable, seeking agreement before you even finish stating your opinion. Each of these is a chase for validation, and the more visibly you chase, the less valuable your attention becomes. It's a cruel irony. The harder you try to be seen, the more invisible you make yourself. People sense desperation the way animals sense fear. They pull back further. Over years of navigating friendships, family dynamics, workplaces, and social circles, most of us have watched this play out in someone else long before we felt it ourselves. The person who talked loudest to stay relevant ended up being the easiest to tune out. Group psychology accelerates the slide. Humans are wired to mirror dominant cues. If one respected person in the circle begins ignoring you, maybe a subtle eye shift, a quicker subject change, a withheld laugh, others subconsciously follow. It's social proof in reverse. Once dismissal gains momentum, it compounds. Respect works the same way. When one person shows you deference, others tend to fall in line. Dismissal spreads just as efficiently. That's why being ignored by a single influential figure in your group can suddenly feel like the whole room has turned a corner away from you. It's not personal vendetta most of the time. It's herd behavior doing what it's always done. The single biggest mistake people make when they notice they're being ignored is also the most natural. They try harder, they talk louder, they explain themselves in longer paragraphs. They force engagement with questions or humor or offers of help. Every extra effort screams neediness, and neediness is kerosene on the fire of disinterest. Desperation lowers perceived power even further because it confirms the original judgment: this person has less to offer than they're claiming. The cycle tightens. The more you push, the more space opens between you and the center of the room. There is a better path, one that feels counterintuitive at first but carries real psychological force: the silent strength response. Reduce your verbal volume, say less, but make what you say deliberate. Slow your pace in conversation, don't rush to fill gaps. Increase steady eye contact rather than darting glances seeking approval. Most powerfully, let silence stretch. Don't rescue awkward pauses. Don't laugh first, don't nod eagerly. That discomfort you feel in the quiet is the same tension others now feel. And tension is where attention gets redistributed. When you stop chasing, the room has to decide whether to come towards you or keep moving without you. That moment of uncertainty is where leverage returns. The scarcity reset is the deeper application of that principle. Withdraw non-essential communication. Stop rewarding dismissal with extra effort. Become selectively present, show up where you're valued, fade where you aren't. Attention given sparingly becomes valuable again. It's not about playing games, it's about restoring natural consequences to your presence. People only truly miss what they've learned can disappear. After decades of being the reliable one, the one who always calls back, always listens, always shows up, it can feel unnatural to pull back. But that pullback is often the only language the social world still understands. Sometimes being ignored is the clearest signal you'll ever get to leave the room entirely. Not every space deserves your energy. Some hierarchies are fixed and have no room left for you at the table that matters. Some groups have quietly decided your chapter with them is closed. Walking away isn't defeat, it's a high-status move. You don't fight for every room. You choose the ones where your presence still carries weight. There is dignity in strategic exit, and there is power in knowing when to use it. Reframe the entire experience. Being ignored is feedback, not a verdict on your identity. It reveals where the leverage has shifted, where attention is being allocated elsewhere, where your signals have changed before you even noticed. The moment you stop taking it personally and start reading it diagnostically, control returns. Emotion stabilizes. You see the machinery instead of just feeling the sting, and here is the calm, final truth that sits at the center of it all. Attention is never taken, it is allocated. No amount of volume, explanation, or persistence can force it back once it's been redirected. But the moment you stop begging for it, you create the conditions for it to flow towards you again. Naturally, quietly, inevitably. You've lived long enough to know that real respect isn't loud, it's steady. It's earned in the pauses, not in the noise. So the next time you feel yourself fading into the background, don't rush to fill the space. Step back instead. Let the silence ask the question everyone else is too polite to voice. Who still matters here? And then let your calm, deliberate presence supply the answer.